Hello to my Pisces. This is Queen Moon Ra coming to you with your general reading. All right, Pisces, this is going to take us into the 10th of October. So let's do it. Let's get into it. All right. So the energy that I was picking up from your cards is that something was bound to make you a star. Like basically something was bound to pull out your star, right? Pull out your what makes you shine bright, right? Whether Pisces is your sun, moon, rising, Venus, whether it was your calling in life, your 10th house, your north node, your 10th house, right? Wherever Pisces is in your birth chart, something was bound to bring out your star. Like we are all returning to pure consciousness. So even being in your career is one step closer to bringing you to what you were called to do. So when people think, okay, I have to hurry up and leave my job. No, you don't have to leave your job until Source says it's time for you to leave your job. But something woke you up to your gifts, right? Your psychic gifts. And something has been overwhelming for you at some point, and just all the sacrifices that were made for to protect your psychic gifts, right? And so a light for you came on in hermit mode, that somebody had been sacrificed, right? A light came on for you that after all the sacrifices that were made, that somebody was being sacrificed or talking about sacrifices, right? And so the stars started to align for you of just like what people would do for stardom, to be a star, right? And that's how we're all here to inspire each other. That's everybody here to inspire each other. People who were born a star know that people will do anything to shine, literally anything to shine, right? And something from your past, you're starting to see something from your past who would do anything to block out someone's light, right? You're seeing in your own family who would do anything to block out your light. I mean, when I say anything, I mean literally anything, right? Including ending you by some way, shape, form, or fashion. Now that you're believing in your dreams, there are other people that are competing for your gifts, looks like, which there's no competition. I mean, really, there's nothing new under the sun, really. The way I liken psychic gifts in lay terms is best practices. Once your cycle is closed, what did you learn about yourself? Like, what did you learn about yourself? It's easy to shine a light on everybody else. This person's this, that. They were the weakest link in the chain, blah, blah, blah. But what did you learn about yourself? Like, what were you on a team of energies where a gift just kind of sort of, you realized you were stronger than you thought, right? Let's say, for instance, you're at work, and somebody that's on a project with you, they have a family emergency. They have some kind of family emergency. And they're not able to meet deadlines, right? And so maybe instead of you being the person kind of sort of complaining about, like, you could be listening to everybody else like, oh, this person, if we had them here, they would have done so on and so forth. Maybe you just quietly just stepped up to the plate and just said, you know what, I'll do something, right? I'll take on this project. Maybe I'll work the weekends. Maybe I'll do X, Y, and Z, so on and so forth, right? Everybody has psychic gifts. Literally everybody has psychic gifts, right? And there were sacrifices that were made from ancestors. A lot of ancestors don't talk about it and don't pass it down because that could have gotten them ended up out of here, right? But something was fated to happen. Your star was fated to happen. Somebody is a high priestess. And so you've gone through enough dark nights of the soul to enlighten energies. You've gone through enough dark nights of the soul to enlighten energies, if that is your calling. And a lot of people have gone through enough things to start enlightening people, right? A lot of people don't really talk about like how they've helped other people, how they've done this, how they've done that. They're not trying to necessarily brag, but a lot of people will brag on your behalf. They'll say, oh yeah, this person helped me. This person was there for me. They wrote a letter for me when my job's about to end. They wrote a letter. They didn't ask why. They just, hey, could you write a recommendation letter? Boom. You write a recommendation letter. and they end up landing a job or getting into a college or university because they needed some kind of recommendation, whatever it is. But a lot of sacrifices have been made. Looking at the cards here, and so something about your star is shining bright. Something about your star is shining bright in whatever you were called to do. Somebody could be a high priestess. Maybe that was what your calling is in life. You could have come up against dark high priestess and light high priestess energy. Like I always tell people, part of my assignment is to go all the way down to the lowest frequency, because as a lighthouse is to help people see, listen, you don't leave people behind just because the rest of the world has written them off that they're dead. Okay, they're dead and gone. They washed up. They're one hit wonder. They're this and that. You don't just leave people behind. As long as they're breathing, you let people know, hey, listen, again, being no respecter of person, hey, listen, I really admire your work. I really appreciate the work that you're doing, and so on and so forth. That one compliment for some people helps people to come up out of a dark space. It helps them to get to their rebirth and say, okay, you know what? It's time for me to shine bright in my calling, whatever my calling is in life, right? So we're going to dive into your reading, find out what your zodiac sign is in your 12th house. Just because Pisces rules 12th house does not mean that your zodiac sign is in your 12th house, right? Yeah. And so that's the house of service, sacrifice. It's kind of to go behind the scenes for people, help people to kind of go behind the scenes. See how this person's eyes are closed here? Helps whether people consider you as dark, negative, or whatever, or people see you as light, right? Somebody could be like, some people would say, okay, oh, this person is negative. Another person could say, oh, no, this person is positive. They're all love and light. It really is what you can handle. Some people cannot handle what they see when they go down to the lowest frequency in their spiritual realm, because they've seen so much darkness. It comes across as just being negative. You working with certain people that just like, okay, you don't know what you're getting into. You new to a company, you don't know what you're getting into. You've seen so much darkness, right? Seen so much death, but that starts out in people's families. You could come from a family where there's a lot of deaths in the family, right? Death of a marriage, death of friendships. I'm not talking to this person anymore. Lots of grief possibly in someone's family, right? And some people, they could be so overwhelmed they go into hermit mode, where a light turns on for them, right? A light could turn out for them. But something was fated to happen. The stars are aligning. The stars are aligning for some kind of a rebirth to happen here. So let's get into your reading. Right, let's get into your reading. We're going to explore spiritual energy, soul lessons, divine guidance flowing into your path this week. So the first card out the deck is High Priestess energy. Your card energy surrounds you. Spirit confirms this week of intuition, inner knowing, and trust in divine energies. What is a challenge here is the Seven of Cups. Confusion or too many choices may cloud your clarity. And Spirit says not all paths are aligned, but discern with intuition, not illusion, right? Not illusion, right? And so the devil is always in the details. When a person thinks, okay, somebody got away with something, right? It's always in the details, right? Nobody ever gets off the planet Earth with anything, right? Even if they have inherited their parents' karma and their parents die. All somebody has to do is say, what's that family's last name? There was this 10-part series on, I want to say it was Amazon Prime. It was a 10-part series when it was like this one family. I forgot where they live because the documentary is now off. But that's when they would have these like 5, 6, 7, 10-part documentary series, whatever. But anyway, something was fated to happen because somebody has a lot of gifts and talents. Somebody comes from a very gifted and talented family. Lots of gifted and talented family. So what I'm seeing here in the cards is somebody in your family. Find out what your zodiac sign is in your second house. Find out what your zodiac sign is in your 7th house, your 12th house, your 9th house, your 8th house, 3rd house. Those are going to be very important houses here. Because people feel like a lot of family members got away with a lot of things, and nobody gets away with anything. But in your high priestess gift, something is actually, what was done in the dark is actually coming to light in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Who's connected to what kind of dark side, and who is actually enlightening people of the dark side. Meaning that you're not trying to expose anybody. Like, you're not out here saying, oh, this person is practicing secret, they sitting somewhere practicing dark moon magic or whatever the case may be. But something was fated to happen for it all, something to all come out, right? In your family, like who's actually related to whom. I mean, all of this stuff is coming out. All because somebody thought somebody got away with something, right? That's it right here. Usually that's what happens. Somebody wasn't healed. They felt like somebody got away with something. This is a water sign in your family. It could be another Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio in your family that felt like you did something, you got away with something, and they not letting you get away with anything. They not letting you get off planet Earth with anything. Nobody gets off planet Earth with anything, even if it's passed down, even if a karmic cycle is passed down through the bloodline, the kids, grandkids, great grandkids, so on and so forth. So even for our elders who transition over, if they did something and passed that, the sins of a parent, the sins of a mother, sins of a father, whatever, they don't get off planet Earth. You know, it just continues until the cycle is closed. Some kind of karmic debt has been paid. Looking at the cards here. Right, some kind of karmic debt has been paid. That's why you go into families and you like, God, that family seems like they got a stroke of bad luck. Every time you turn around, somebody, this is happening, that's happening, and so on and so forth. And so some kind of debt has been paid in terms of like, and somebody you have two high priestess. You and someone else are a high priestess in your family, and somebody thought. Both of you all felt like people got away with stuff in the family, but something is coming to the light. Something is coming to the light of how people have been sacrificed, because people are now listening to how, sacrifices. Somebody's bringing something out, like somebody who's operating in their purpose, their calling in life. Somebody who's actually doing time, is getting ready to expose the darkness of people believing in their dreams, right? So high priestess energy. So we also had the past influences was the hangman, right? And so recent surrender and stillness have shifted your perspective, and spirit honors the wisdom gained in pause and patience. And so this right here, the moon card, secret, this is your card right here. So you're aware of certain of uncertainty, illusions, or dreams. And so spirit reminds you, clarity arises when you trust your deeper currents, right? So something could be overwhelming. For Pisces, some of the things that could draw, like, oh, see how this person is drowning? Something could be like, it could cause somebody to be drowning in debt. It can cause somebody to be drowning in, unhealthy or wounded sex. They feel like they could sex it away. Who has the song? Who has this song? I want to say it's Cranes in the Sky. I try to drink it away. I try to sex it away. I try to such and such away. Somebody feels like when people get away with stuff, you being connected to an Aries, somebody is connected to an Aries who is very, very impulsive and dark in their energy. Could be a Aries and also a Scorpio, could have overwhelmed somebody. Something somebody could have said could have been so overwhelming for somebody. While you were in hermit mode, a light for you came on, almost like you had ideas or something. All these ideas could have come through, and about being a star. This would be like a person saying, mirroring somebody. So somebody could have said to you, hey, mirror this. I want you to mirror this Virgo, for instance. They could have said, okay, Pisces, because these are polarity signs. Somebody could have said to you, I need you to copy everything this Virgo does, or I need you to copy everything this Aquarius does, or I need you to copy everything this Scorpio does, or I need you to copy everything. Like somebody could have said, and something could have just been overwhelming. Like literally could have been overwhelming, especially if you're not really used to shining bright in dark spaces. Something could have literally been overwhelming. That's how certain things, it's almost like somebody dumping, like a dump onto you. Very unhealthy, very unhealthy, very wounded. onto you, right? And so something has come full circle. Something has come full circle to help you with closing out cycles, helping you to close out cycles. What I'm picking up here is somebody comes from a family where somebody feels like, I'm really picking up on destiny swap. That's what I'm picking up on here. Somebody in your family was playing God. Basically, somebody in their family was like, okay, basically instigating something. Okay, they're a snake, they're such and such, such and such. They're not going to get away with such and such, whatever it is, somebody in your family. And so somebody says, okay, let's just pull out all the stops. We're going to dump everything into you. We're going to dump everything into you. So let's all sit in a circle and talk about such and such and such and such. And it's basically like copy this, copy that, copy this, copy that, copy this and that. But what's going ready to happen is that every single person that was sitting in a circle talking about somebody, or you or somebody talking, is all, the entire circle is being exposed. All of their death magic is being exposed. This is how we end this energy. Everybody that was sitting around in a circle, and the energy that's going to do it is a star. Somebody who was born a star is actually doing it, right? So whoever that is, I don't feel like that person is, because something was fated to happen. Yeah, something was fated to happen. Because it looks like somebody has always wanted to end a star. Somebody has always wanted to end a bright star. And this is in someone's family. So people coming together in a circle, trying to end somebody, to overwhelm them, is all being exposed. It's almost like somebody wanted to do something in secret, and it had no choice but to come to light. They had no choice but to come to light. It's like finding out you're a it's like finding out let's say you're a singer, right? Or let's say you're a painter and you try to keep your art, we're talking about Venus now. Let's say you try to keep your art just, you don't want to just keep it local, you want to just a few people, you're just trying to keep it in-house, right? But all it takes is one thing for people to become a star, and you get to see the light and dark side of stardom. You get a chance to see the light and dark side of fame. Like, oh my God, I didn't know you was related to that person. I didn't know that y'all was connected. I didn't know you grew up in this space. I didn't know this. I didn't know that, so on and so forth. And people exposing the dark side of things, which can be really, really overwhelming. So even if you're sitting in a house where light is coming on, it can still be overwhelming, right? Of just the dark side of things. People trying to expose who you dated, who you had sex with, who you have kids with, who you may have gotten pregnant by. I mean, like anything that's dark about you, who recorded your conversations, who secretly filmed you. That's everything with death is, like somebody trying to end somebody's star. Like the amount of effort and energy that people put into trying to end people's stars is just crazy. It is just absolutely insane crazy, right? So that's what's happening here. So something may have put you into hermit mode, but something coming out is going to be so overwhelming, and it's possibly from a Virgo or another Pisces, of how you were sacrificed so that they could be in your star, whoever you are. Obviously, all Pisces are not the same. The Virgo could have put you in the spotlight in some way, shape, form, or fashion. A Scorpio could have put you in the spotlight. Somebody in Aquarius could have put you in the spotlight. Whoever, about some kind of a sacrifice. But that's what I'm saying. Like, people wanting to be famous, it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. So something is putting everything on in the spotlight, right? So you don't really get to pick and choose what people want to focus on. You could be the nicest person in the world. You could have gone through a total rebirth, but you don't get to pick and choose what people will attack, right? So so I'm seeing some kind of sacrifice here. The Ace of Cups here lets me know, and it should be here, the Ace of Cups here. Just lets me know that a new wave of emotional or spiritual renewal flows in, and spirit reveals heart opening energy, love, or divine light approaching, to your star here, right? This is your 11th house. So find out what your zodiac sign is in your 11th house. You embody hope and renewal, and spirit highlights healing energy radiating from you. You are aligning with higher guidance, higher guidance. And so external influences would be Wheel of Fortune. So fate is shifting around you, and spirit shows cycles turning. Changes are divinely orchestrated for your growth. And then as far as death is concerned, endings may stir fear, but spirit affirms transformation is sacred, and release makes way for soul rebirth. And the world card, right? The world card. This would be the outcome. And so completion and wholeness await. And so spirit affirms a karmic cycle is closing, ushering you into expansion and higher alignment. So some people are born a star. Some people have been used to it, from the very beginning, coming out the womb. Okay, the ahs. People recognize people who are stars. Because it's almost like, okay, when do you turn it off? And we're not talking about necessarily celebrities. We're talking about, like, when do you turn it off? When do you stop being the center of attention? Some people really are just shun it. They just don't want to be a part. It's like, okay, yikes, don't want to be a part of that, that world. And it pushes some people into hermit mode. And some people crave it. Some people really, really want to be. And some people, no matter what they do, they don't show their face. They don't go out to events. They don't. People still know, they're still known all over the world. Maybe they answered a call. Remember, 10th house speaks to career and vocation. So at some point you could have had some kind of a career that put you in the spotlight in some way, shape, form, or fashion, and people still kind of sort of have that snapshot of who you are, right? And so by the time you answer the call in your life, you're like, what is the purpose of all of this? What was the purpose of being on that job and such a, you apply for the promotion and it just you never got to that. So it's like, because your time there was up, you learned everything you needed to learn in that particular job. Now I need you on to your next assignment, right? So something about your next assignment. So your bitter ex's lover wants you. Oh, Lord. All right. So you have the gift of clairaudience. This is, you hear things very clearly. Your enemy's plan backfired. That will be the enemy within. The healer and protector of travelers is with you. So wherever you go, you're safe. You're fine. Whoever you are. It doesn't matter where Pisces is in your birth chart. The more you know about your birth chart, the more you realize readings are not just speaking to a sun, moon, rising in Venus. They're literally speaking to all parts of wherever Pisces is in your birth chart, your 12th house, right? So it's time to do the mirror work. Time for somebody to do the mirror work, right? And so I see you being booked and busy, not bitter and burdened at all. And so somebody secretly has a crush on you. And again, this is you, something was fated to happen for you in this rebirth. Some people may not even recognize you anymore. If this is your calling in life, if your calling is in your gifts and they're so overwhelming, get ready to be booked and busy and not bitter and burdened, because people really do hold somebody to a high standard, and you are a star at whatever you do. So it's time to expand your brand, whoever you are. The spy is now turned on. New love awaits for somebody. Right? Schedule a vacation. So somebody could be going on vacation. Yeah. Somebody could be going on vacation. So, yeah. Here we have the number 644. So, struggle. Self-centered stress is unhealthy. Your angels are asking you to get honest about how you contribute undue stress and conflict to your own life. And they ask you to contemplate how struggle plays into your comfort zone. And so notice where you are making life harder for yourself today, even in the smallest moments. Make a tiny change today so that a small struggle becomes obsolete. Yeah. So 6. So somebody going to be focusing on their 6th house and their 4th house. You and somebody are going to be focusing on your 4th house. 4th house is about home and family, and also focusing on like nurturing home and nurturing family. That's really what this is, right? Being a lot more meticulous and being detailed, right? So Again, I feel like somebody comes from a family of stars. Somebody comes from a family of people who shine bright in their own way, right? People who shine bright in their own way. Somebody comes from a very gifted and talented. That's why you see the 7 of Cups there. Like 7 cups spill over. It's like somebody could come from a family where mom and dad has a lot of gifts and talents. They could have, kids could have inherited, but you inherit the light and dark side. The light and dark side. So here we have manifestation. Yeah. And unfortunately, sometimes families don't know how to bring out the best in their own kids, grandkids, whatever, besides competition. Somebody in this felt like somebody got fighting mad in a situation. They felt like somebody got away with something, and they got fighting mad and started turning up the heat, and just something was just boiling hot. Like somebody's like, okay, we need to turn up the heat on something, right? So yeah, here we have balance. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about, balance. A balance of light and dark, right? So I'm seeing rest and rejuvenation, rest and rejuvenation. So this is more or less about somebody else wanting to be a star. This is a parent who wants to be a star, because I'm seeing the death card here. These are parents who actually wanted to spot, you know, like I was at a sporting event one time, and this little girl was about to go out and sing. This little girl was about to go out and sing the national anthem, and the mother, Lord have mercy, child. The mother was what I guess you call them, like a stage mom or something. I was just like, oh my God, let the child be a child. I'm saying it to myself. Of course, I would never overstep that boundary and say it to somebody's, you know, but she was definitely a stage mother. She was definitely a stage mother. So sometimes people project that kind of anger and frustration. Okay, it's taking too long. I'm gonna dump all of this into you, because they are secretly competing with something from their own childhood. And that's what I'm picking up here. This is what I'm picking up here. Like somebody's like, okay, we're going to, instead of somebody saying, okay, well, this one is good at this, and this one is good at this, and this one is good at this, and this one is good at this. Okay, so let me help sharpen all of these gifts. Somebody in a very immature way decided to dump everything into one energy and overwhelm them. Something was just overwhelming. So that's what I'm seeing here. That is what I'm seeing here. So it's time to schedule some kind of a vacation, some kind of rest and rejuvenation at this point. But yeah, somebody wanted to make, either two parents wanted to make their kids like compete for something, instead of doing it in a very healthy way and showing people, okay, this is the light side of fame, this is the dark side of fame. It was somebody felt like an injustice that was done to them. This is a parent who felt like an injustice was done to them. Somebody was a snake and they had gotten away with something, and they just blew up. I mean, like, just was livid, snapped, and just decided, okay, we're going to get a circle of people together and we're going to bring out this dark energy. We're going to do this. So that backfired. That actually backfired. It backfired on a light high priestess and a dark high priestess within a family. This is generational, because this is a generational planet. Saturn is a generation. So they are having, so what the enemy meant for evil, Source is actually turning something around for your good and somebody else's good, to create something. So whatever these energies were meant to do, they felt like whoever these two, this light and dark high priestess in your bloodline, this would be like an older generation. Whatever they were struggling with, in terms of just something was fated to happen. Something was just fated to happen. So it's like they all sat around. It would literally be like somebody sitting around, a family coming up against one energy, trying to pin people up against a star in the family, but they all coming together, not in the spirit of love, but in the spirit actually of hate, in the spirit of death. Let's all put our powers together and end something, because we feel like we need to be their karma. That's sad within a family, that people will come together and do that to one person. We all feel like we all need to come together and be one energy's karma. And it backfired. It backfired, because what happened is that now everything, nobody thought beyond that. Now the entire family, the bloodline, who's really connected, who's who's all of this is being exposed. Oh, that's your aunt, that's your uncle, that's your so-and-so, that's the family last name. They live here, they got roots there. This one moved over to this country, this they on this continent. Now everything is being connected under the sun, which is going to be overwhelming, all because one energy who was impulsive, thinking that somebody got away with something, decided they just want to go full ham on everybody under the sun secretly. But the sun actually exposes what was done in secret. What was done, the sun exposes the moon, right? It illuminates the moon. So like I said, what the enemy meant for evil, source is turning around for the good, to break some kind of generational cycle, chain, and curse, to force people into a rebirth. So all the energies that wanted to be a star is going to experience the dark and light side of, if people wanted the spotlight on them, there it is. There it is. You got at least 7 people in your family, 6 or 7 people in your family that was almost like in zombified mode. But all it took was for one person to cry. They cried to a Taurus, because that starts the Scorpio. It starts with because 5, 6, and 7 of cups connects us with Scorpio. Somebody cried to a Taurus, right? And it got all of this going. Taurus sun and a Taurus moon. Stop dating people that represent your shadow self. You healed. That's what happened. So now everything is coming out. Like everything is being exposed, including people's gifts, and who was competing with whom with their gifts, and who wanted to secretly end people because of their gifts. Everything, all this right here, manifestation. People wanted to manifest being a star. They got it. They wanted to be a star and they got it. But it's how they became a star, like what they wanted to. Somebody wanted so bad to believe that people slept their way. And I say this all the time. See this ladder right here? People slept their way to the top of a position in the workplace. Not everybody's sleeping their way to the top. Some people, like, they're not doing that. They'll move on before they have to do all of that, get to that level to get to the top. Everything is being exposed, including who was behind, who was flipping the bowls over. Everything is being exposed. All because people wanted fame. All because people wanted their name in lights. Right? So I do see somebody scheduling a vacation. Like I said, remember that somebody is a star. So again, you scheduling a vacation, you'll start not being paranoid, but just being, aware of your surroundings. And so that is what I see for you. All right. Hopefully this is helpful. I'll see you all in the next video. Don't forget to find out what your sign is in your 10th house, and answer the call in your life. There is a balance. There's a balance between light and dark. So get off the fence, become enlightened about what your purpose is, and answer the call in your life. If source been calling you, it's time to answer the call in your life.